It is completely shocking that, in the landscape of 2026 motorcycling, where small displacement bikes are usually built to a tight budget, with cheap plastics, the Kawasaki W250 stands as a defiance of that entire philosophy. Here at Ride Radar, we are used to seeing entry-level motorcycles that feel disposable, but the W250 feels like a scaled-down luxury vehicle that has no business being this well-made. It is a machine that prioritizes elegance and build quality over raw horsepower, shocking riders with a level of finish that is typically reserved for bikes that cost 3 times as much, making it a true anomaly in the modern market. The engine of the 2026 W250 is a long-stroke, air-cooled single-cylinder masterpiece that delivers a thumping character that is utterly lost in modern, short-stroke engines. It is shocking how this relatively small engine produces such a rhythmic and soothing heartbeat, providing a torque-rich sensation at low speeds that makes you feel like you are riding a much larger, vintage British motorcycle. We at Ride Radar were stunned by how Kawasaki tuned this motor to prioritize feeling over speed, creating a power delivery that is relaxing rather than frantic. When you approach the W250, the first thing that shocks you is the sheer amount of real steel and chrome utilized in its construction, which is almost unheard of in the quarter-liter class of 2026. Most 250cc bikes today are covered in angular plastic fairings and aggressive stickers, but the W250 wears metal fenders, metal side covers, and a metal headlight housing with pride. It feels cold to the touch and substantial, giving the owner a sense of pride that they possess a real motorcycle, not just a commuter appliance. The sound that emanates from the pea-shooter exhaust is another aspect that will leave you pleasantly surprised, because it does not sound like a lawnmower or a sewing machine. It has a distinct deep pop idle that sounds genuinely classic, a sonic signature that we, at Ride Radar, believe is the best in its class by a significant margin. It is shocking that they managed to make a 250cc single sound this charismatic, while still adhering to the strict noise and emission regulations of 2026. The riding position of the 2026 Kawasaki is shockingly comfortable, offering a neutral upright ergonomics package that feels natural the moment you swing a leg over it. Unlike the aggressive crouch required by small sport bikes or the awkward reach of some cruisers, the W250 places you in a commanding yet relaxed posture. It allows you to scan the traffic ahead with ease, which is perfect for the urban environments where this bike thrives, and it reduces fatigue significantly on longer rides. We have to talk about the seat on this machine, because it is a shocking departure from the hard, thin foam pads found on almost every other small bike in 2026. The W250 features a ribbed, deeply padded seat that looks like it was upholstered by a craftsman, not a machine. It offers a level of plushness that we at Ride Radar rarely experience, making it possible to ride for hours without the discomfort that usually plagues the 250cc category. The handling of the W250 is a revelation, providing a lightweight agility that is expected of a small bike, but combining it with a stability that is shocking. The classic double cradle frame and larger wheels give it a planted feel that inspires massive confidence, allowing it to sweep through corners with a grace that feels poetic. It doesn't twitch or feel nervous like modern naked bikes. Instead, it flows through the streets with a dignity that makes every commute feel like a special occasion. One of the most special features of the 2026 W250 is the instrumentation, which rejects the modern trend of cheap digital displays in favor of 2 beautiful analog clocks. Watching the needles sweep across the speedometer and tachometer is a tactile joy that is missing from digital screens, and it shocks you with how much classier it makes the cockpit feel. Here at Ride Radar, we appreciate that Kawasaki resisted the urge to put a TFT screen on this bike, preserving the timeless aesthetic that makes the W series so legendary. The paint quality on the fuel tank is another area where the W250 completely embarrasses its competition, offering deep, lustrous finishes that look like they were dipped in liquid glass. The depth of the color and the precision of the pinstriping are shocking for a bike in this segment, showing a level of attention to detail that is usually reserved for flagship models. It is a bike that you will find yourself staring at in the garage, admiring the way the light dances off the curves of the tank. It is surprising how the 2026 W250 manages to be a head-turner that attracts attention from everyone. Regardless of whether they know anything about motorcycles, people will stop you at traffic lights to ask if it is a restored, Classic from the 1960s, and they are always shocked when you tell them. It is a brand new 2026 model. At Ride Radar, we love bikes that start conversations, and the W250 is a magnet for positive social interaction in a way that generic plastic bikes never can be. The suspension setup on the W250 is tuned for comfort rather than track performance, which is a shocking and welcome relief for riders who have to deal with potholes and rough city streets. The traditional telescopic forks and dual rear shocks soak up imperfections with a plushness that makes the ride feel like you are floating. It proves that you don't need complex electronic suspension to have a smooth ride. You just need high-quality components, tuned correctly for the real world. The gearbox on the W250 is incredibly smooth, offering a shifting action that is positive and precise, eliminating the clunky feeling often associated with budget gearboxes. Finding neutral is shockingly easy, and the clutch pull is feather light, making it an absolute dream to ride in heavy stop and go traffic. We at Ride Radar found that this ease of operation makes the W250 one of the best bikes for new riders who want to learn on something that feels premium rather than cheap. Safety has not been overlooked, as the 2026 250 comes equipped with a braking system that is shockingly effective despite its vintage appearance. The disc brakes provide strong, progressive stopping power, and the ABS system is refined enough to be unintrusive, keeping you safe on wet roads without ruining the ride. It is a special blend of old-school looks and modern safety tech that gives you the peace of mind to enjoy the ride fully. The sheer value retention of the W250 is something that shocks many owners, as these bikes tend to hold their price incredibly well compared to their plastic counterparts. Because they are built with high-quality materials and have a timeless design that never goes out of style, they do not age in the same way other bikes do. Ride Radar predicts that the 2026 W250 will be a future classic, making it not just a purchase, but a smart investment for the motorcycle enthusiast. The lighting system on the 2026 W250 is a perfect example of modern tech, hiding in a classic shell, with a round headlight that projects a shockingly bright beam, while it looks completely vintage when the bike is off. The LED internals light up the road with a clarity that ensures you are seen and can see perfectly at night. It is a special touch that shows Kawasaki understands that retro riders still need modern visibility standards. For those who love to customize, the W250 is a shocking playground of potential, serving as the perfect base for a scrambler, tracker, or cafe racer build. The simplicity of the chassis and the lack of complex bodywork mean that you can transform the look of the bike with just a few bolt-on parts. At Ride Radar, we have seen some incredible custom W250s, and the 2026 model continues this tradition of being a versatile canvas for self-expression. The slow ride philosophy of the W250 is a special mindset that shocks riders who are used to always rushing to their destination. This bike teaches you that the joy of motorcycling is not found at the red line but in the journey itself, encouraging you to take the scenic route and enjoy the scenery. It changes your entire perspective on riding, making you a calmer and more observant rider, which is a rare and valuable gift in our fast-paced world. Maintenance on the 2026 250 is shockingly simple, bringing back the days when a rider could actually work on their own machine. With a basic set of tools, the air-cooled engine means there is no radiator or coolant to worry about, and the accessible layout makes oil changes and chain adjustments a breeze. We at Ride Radar love this mechanical honesty because it empowers the owner to bond with their machine, rather than being reliant on a dealership for every little thing. The fuel economy of the W250 is absolutely staggering, allowing you to ride for days on a single tank of gas, which is a huge benefit in 2026. It sips fuel with an efficiency that shocks you, making it one of the most economical ways to get around the city. With style, it proves that you can have a stylish, premium vehicle without incurring high running costs, hitting a sweet spot of practicality and passion. The clutch and throttle response are tuned to be incredibly forgiving, which is special because it removes the intimidation factor for beginners while still being fun for experts. The bike never feels jerky or unpredictable. It simply does exactly what you ask of it, with a polite and refined demeanor. It is shockingly easy to ride slowly, with excellent low-speed balance that makes filtering through traffic feel like second nature. The presence of a center stand as standard equipment is a small but shocking detail that many modern manufacturers cut to save costs and weight. It makes chain maintenance and parking on soft surfaces so much easier, and it adds to the classic silhouette of the bike. It is these small, thoughtful touches that make the W250 feel so special and complete, showing that Kawasaki respected the rider's needs. When designing this machine, ultimately the 2026 Kawasaki W250 is a shock to the system. Because it dares to be different in a world of standardized, plastic motorcycles, it offers a soul and a character that are usually missing from the quarter-liter class, providing a riding experience that is rich, textured, and deeply satisfying. As we always say here at Ride Radar, you don't need a big engine to have a big heart, and the W250 is the ultimate proof of that, making it a truly special machine that deserves a place in any garage.